What is going on, all you wonderful A-Plusters out there? It is I, Stuart, here once again to give you guys another review, this time for Ms.Marvel, episode number 3. Unfortunately, it's just me reviewing the episode today. I won't have Indy with me. Hopefully, next episode we'll be able to do the review together, because unfortunately, the last couple weeks our schedules have just been a little bit too different, so it's just been like, when I'm available, he's not available. Whenever he's available, it seems like I'm not available. So hopefully we can get that, sorted out next week for the next episode, but until then, let's talk about episode 3. I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on what I think of the show so far, and you know what, I'm just gonna get straight to my overall consensus and say that this was not only another fantastic episode, but I'm still continuing to think that Ms. Marvel is probably my favorite MCU show, if we're not counting Daredevil, that is, or the Netflix shows in general. I think of all the Disney Plus like Marvel television shows out there, Ms. Marvel still continues to be probably my current favorite one going on. But getting into this episode, we start out with a flashback of the bangle that we see her wearing, the one that, unlocked her powers. And, something I'm going to kind of point out that I thought was kind of interesting about the scene is that it did look like it was attached to a severed arm of a Kree, because to me, the arm looked like it was more blue, and because it was very fresh looking, despite the fact that it looked like it had been there for quite a while, it looked very intact. So it kind of makes me wonder if they're gonna like kind of low-key involve the, if they're gonna low-key kind of not necessarily involve the Kree in the show, but if they're gonna use the Kree to kind of tie this into Captain Marvel, because we do know that Ms. Marvel is eventually going to be in the new Captain Marvel movie, The Marvels. So I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of their way of kind of being able to ease her into that bigger picture. And plus, it would also make sense, especially for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans out there, because we know that the if she is inhuman like she is in the comic books, we know that the Kree would be involved with that in some way. So again, you kind of have that really cool connection right there. But going into the flashback itself, so we see a group of people that we don't really know. We haven't really seen them yet, but they are currently looking for this particular MacGuffin, and when they find it, it unfortunately doesn't work with them. We then cut back to the present, where Ms. Marvel finds out about Cameron and his family, and finds out that they are actually known as the Clandestine, but in our world, or in the Marvel universe as well, they're more known as the Jinn, or they go by other names too. Some people will refer to them as genies or demons, things like that. But regardless, we find out that their overall goal, at least the goal that they tell Kamala, is that they just really want to go home, and the bangle is the only way to make that happen. So Kamala gets Bruno to help her find out how to do so, and what I really like is that they do a cool name drop for Eric from the Thor movies, basically him talking about parallel universes and how to open up gateways to other dimensions. But he finds out that if he does so, and especially since they still don't fully know how the bangle how it works, if they aren't able to contain it, or if they aren't, smart about the way they do it, it could cause potentially a lot of damage, which, doesn't seem too bad at first, because currently in this show, we haven't been given any urgency for when it comes to the Clandestine. So when you find out that, we might need to think this through before sending them home, you'd think maybe the Clandestine would be like, what, we've been here for 100 years, we can wait a little bit longer. Unfortunately, that's not the case. No, Kamala tells Cameron about this, of course, immediately, and when Cameron tells his mother about this, she isn't happy, and she's like, no, I don't want to wait here any longer, we're leaving now. So while this is all going on, there's the wedding, of course, for Kamala's older brother. So Kamala's real moment to shine kind of comes, though, after the wedding rehearsal, when basically Cameron's family, like I mentioned, are very impatient, and they're like, no, we need to go home right now. And so rather than, waiting for an opportune moment when Kamala's alone, like any smart supervillain would do, they decide to just completely interrupt the wedding and essentially go after Kamala while there's like, the full wedding is going on, and it's in a building filled with lots of people. That's when they start to go after her, and she's kind of forced to really think on her feet, like by pulling the fire alarm, trying to get as many people out of the building as possible before trying to basically defend herself while also trying to kind of fight off the Clandestine. But this leads to a pretty interesting fight scene, and I say interesting because at this point Kamala is still very inexperienced compared to these guys who have a lot more training. However, Kamala does have the superpowers that they lack, so she is able to basically fend them off. And they eventually do get arrested, but unfortunately, it's not like this was an easy task for her. And then also to top it all off, by the end of it, her other friend finds out about her superpowers and isn't really happy for a couple of reasons. One, it's because of her that, or I shouldn't really say because of her, but in her point of view, it was because of Kamala that the FBI, or damage control in this case, have been like raiding all of the Pakistani churches. And so because of that, there's kind of that little grudge that she holds against her. But of course, the other thing is just the fact that she never told her. It's that whole thing of just like, not necessarily mad that she lied to her, but mad that she never cued her in on the whole thing about her getting powers or anything like that. So it is kind of understandable, to my opinion, why she would be really upset with Kamala. But even after the Clandestine are taken into custody, we still don't necessarily know how safe Kamala is going to be after this, because we still have damage control going after her. Not to mention, we still don't know exactly what the Clandestine's plan is going to be now that they're arrested. Are they going to out Kamala to the authorities and use that leverage to their advantage, or are they going to try to escape? Are they going to want to keep her powers unknown to damage control? Because if they were to find out about her, then of course Kamala could be taken, and then they would also once again have no way of getting home. So it really depends on how smart of a villain they really are, which currently I think the Clandestine are kind of proving themselves to not actually be that smart. And I say that because, again, they decided to attack in the middle of the wedding, when there were a lot of people around. So I do think that was a really dumb plan on their part for sure as villains, but we'll have to see, and we don't even know if they're going to really stick as the villains of the show, because we still have damage control being like kind of what I'll call the primary antagonist currently, and then the Clandestine are kind of like right underneath them, and currently now they're in custody of damage control. So it's really hard to say how big of a role they're going to play for the next 3 episodes. But guys, overall, this was another fantastic episode. I'm really loving the family dynamic with Kamala and her parents. I love that, clearly, even though they're overprotective of her, they really do care about her. And I like that, even though that trust has been kind of tested in the first episode when she went to the Avengers Con when they specifically told her not to, I do like that it's not like it's completely severed. Like, they're still letting her be herself and things like that. They're not trying to fully control her or anything like that, but there is definitely that bit of frustration between the parents and her, because of course she's not fully telling them everything that's going on, and they can totally tell that she is definitely hiding something, they just don't know what. And I am really curious to find out how they're going to react when they do, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the series it's safe to say they're eventually going to find out about her powers. So it is going to be kind of interesting to find out how they react to that. But yeah, overall, another great episode. Really looking forward to episode number 4, and then hopefully we'll also get Indy back for the episode 4 review as well. But until then, everyone, just remember to take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and of course, above all, don't forget to keep it A+. I will talk to you all later.